guys, what up? It is Mega B here, and today, for the first video of 2019, we're doing a Transformers unpopular opinions video. I asked you guys on Instagram for your unpopular Transformer opinion videos, whether they be opinions that you have or unpopular opinions that you've seen in the community, and I'm going to react to them, whether I'm going to tell you if I agree with them, disagree with them, why I agree or disagree with you. I'm going to try to look at your side of why you agree or disagree with it, and then I'm going to try to tell you how I feel, and I'm going to try to do this in the most friendliest way possible, because I understand not everyone agrees or not everyone disagrees. We are individual humans. We all have different opinions. If we were all molded and built the same way, life would be pretty freaking boring. I understand people have opinions on certain things. I know not everyone likes everything, and I accept that, so I decided that I was gonna do this video. I'm excited to see your guys' opinions because I looked at them briefly when I got them on Instagram, but since then I have not looked at them. So I'm gonna do this anonymously, and don't ask me down in the comments who did what unpopular opinion, because I'm not gonna tell you. First unpopular opinion is Robots in Disguise 2015 was great. I actually agree with you on that one. I have gotten a lot of hate because I really enjoyed the new Robots in Disguise. I know a lot of people didn't, and I can see why. Because it wasn't as good as Prime. It came right after Prime. It had a lot to live up to, and people just weren't happy with it. I can see that. I can consider it a continuation of Prime, but at the same time, I can see people who say it's not, because there's references to Prime, but not enough to the point where it really is a continuation of Prime. Soundwave reference from him getting out of the Shadow Zone, and Bumblebee saying, "What would Raph and Miko and Jack do?" and Bulkhead coming back, and Ratchet. Those are the only references to Prime we really have, but I really liked seeing Bumblebee as a leader, seeing him grow from a scout to now finding his voice and leading his own team and learning that he's not like Optimus, having to navigate his own leadership and finding out how he leads. He keeps thinking, I need to be like Optimus. But as the series goes on, you learn that, no, you don't, Bumblebee. You are your own person. You have to learn how to lead on your own. And though most of the time it's through trying to find his own battle cry, which he does, and I think it's a pretty good battle cry for Bumblebee to have. And a lot of people are sick of B, and I can understand that. Personally, I agree with you on this unpopular opinion. Next unpopular opinion is that B is the best character. Wouldn't go as far to say he's the best Transformers character or the best character in general, but I love B a lot. He's like on my top 10 list of favorite Transformers. Top 3 actually. Him and Optimus are like 1 and 2. But I love Bumblebee so much just because he's you can relate to him. He wants to try to find his voice. Even in any incarnation, you can see he wants to try to find his voice. He wants to show people that he's not just a scout. He's not just a second in command. He can be a leader. He can also be adorable as fuck, but he can do things. He has courage. He's strong. And so I can see why people love him as much as I love him. He was the first Transformers character that I fell in love with. The reason I made Mega B. I can see why people love him. I can also see why people don't like him, because he's overused quite a bit, and I agree with that. I love the Bumblebee movie very, very much. I liked his role in R.I.D. I personally love him. He reminds me so much of myself. He wants to make something of himself. He wants to be more than just a scout, and I can see that. I can see why you say he's your favorite character, and I can also see why people don't like him. Next unpopular opinion is, for me personally, MTMTE lost my interest around the 10th issue. It just didn't do much to really engage me. I can understand where you're coming from, because it took me forever to read More Than Meets the Eye. It came out in 2012 and finished in 2018. I didn't read it until May of 2018, because I didn't feel the need to really read MTMTE until early 2018. That's when I really felt the need to read, because I knew major things had already happened. I knew about Skids dying. Spoiler alert! I knew about Rewind and Chrome Dome, and that whole thing with Overlord. I knew about that, and all these characters. I knew what happened to them. So I didn't feel the need to read them hardcore until early last year. And I can see why you would not feel the need to continue on, because the Transformers fandom is kind of woven around the movies and the TV shows versus the comics. Unlike with Marvel, where it started from comics, Transformers started from a TV show, so the comics kind of get pushed back. And I'm not saying the comics are not great, they are fabulous comics, but Transformers has always been woven around Optimus and Megatron fighting this evil battle. These other characters that are in MTMTE haven't really had much of a spotlight besides MTMTE. So I can understand why you get bored, because for me, the first couple issues of MTMTE were okay. It wasn't until issue 9 where I fell in love with these characters so much. But I can understand if you don't want to continue on. I'm not going to force anyone to continue on with MTMTE because it's not for everyone. I remember when I started reading MTMTE, a lot of people said that you're not a real Transformers fan until you read MTMTE, and that hurt me. I'm not naming individuals who said this to me because that's rude, but it really hurt me because I have dedicated so much of my time and my life to this fandom. Got into the fandom in 2011, and now 2018, when someone tells me, since you haven't read this comic series, you're not a real fan, that literally hurt me. And I still think back on those statements. Now, after having read the comics, I still look back on it and I think that person didn't have a right to say that to me. Because yes, the comics make up a huge portion of the fandom. Like, I love the comics, and I would wish everyone in the fandom to read them because they're so good. The characters are fantastic. The writing is fantastic. You will feel emotions. But I'm not going to force people to read them. Just like I'm not going to tell people that they're not a Transformers fan or a real Transformers fan because they haven't read the comics. That's where I draw the line, is when people tell me stuff like that, that you're not a real Transformers fan because you haven't read the comics. And I'm like, that's where it hurts, because I've been in the fandom quite a little bit. It hurts. And now that I guess now I'm officially a real Transformers fan because I've read the comics, I am a real fan. Whether you tell me I am or not, I think I'm a real fan. The amount of dedication I have put into Transformers before I even read the comics was insane. I can understand why you find the comics boring. It's a long chapter, especially since there's 52 issues. It's a lot. So I can understand why you got bored, and I can understand why you don't want to continue. And I'm not gonna force you to continue. You're allowed to not enjoy something that everyone else enjoys. So I can understand if you don't want to continue on with MTMT. I'm not going to force you to. We went back and reread the first 10 issues recently, and they're not my favorites. It does get better, let me tell you, but I'm not going to force you to go on and finish reading them because I'm not a person that wants to force anything upon someone. The fact that you're okay with other people who have read MTMT, that's great. You know? I apologize if anyone gets offended in this video. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just trying to make statements that I have heard on the internet and try to understand your unpopular opinion and try to understand it from your perspective and have you understand it from my perspective as well. Popular opinion is the TF animated style / designs aren't that good. Here's where I agree with you to some regards. A lot of people treasure and love Transformers animated, and that is perfectly acceptable because it is a good show. I really enjoy it, but it is not my favorite. And I do love the designs. I think they're really cool. They are definitely not my favorite either. So while I agree with you on this respect of designs and art style, the designs are unique and very interesting, and they fit well within the world and everything. As much, they're not my favorite. They're definitely not my least favorite, but I'm kind of agreeing with you, but also disagreeing with you. I'm kind of on the fence. Please don't hate on me. The next unpopular opinion is Ratchet X Optimus makes no sense. Here is where I agree but disagree with you at the same time. The reason so many people ship Optimus X Ratchet is mainly due to their chemistry in Transformers Prime. They had a lot of chemistry in Transformers Prime, especially the Stronger Faster episode and the Predacons Rising movie. They had some quite good chemistry moments. I started to ship Optimus and Ratchet hardcore in Prime, especially after the Stronger Faster episode, because that episode, man, that's where my love for them grew. If it wasn't for Prime, I feel like people wouldn't ship them just because their chemistry in Prime was so strong, so great, and I can understand why you don't understand it, why it makes no sense, because if it wasn't for Prime, it wouldn't really make much sense, at least to me, in my opinion. Even on the DVD, I can't remember who said it, but on the commentary DVD, the producers or the directors said that they made them they're as close to a couple as they can get in Prime. So in Prime is where our love of Optimus Ratchet X came from. And a lot of the fan art is Optimus and Ratchet from Prime. So really in Prime is where a lot of people started to ship them. That's where the ship comes from, is what I have seen and read about and derived from my own stuff. If it wasn't for Prime, I wouldn't probably ship them. So that's probably why it makes no sense. But at the same time, I feel like that's where the ship came from. But like, they're still a good ship. Like, that's my opinion. Rescue Bots has a better plot than RID 2015. I agree with you so hardcore. As I stated earlier, I really love RID 2015. But my love for Rescue Bots is hardcore through the roof. Rescue Bots is my favorite show. Not just because of the plot, but because of the characters and the humans. It was the first Transformers show where I loved every single human character. Even the humans like Mrs. Niederlander, even the two twins, Miles and I don't remember the other kid's name. The two twins that would steal the tech. I thought they were pretty cool. Even Dr. Morocco. Rescue Bots and RID were the only shows to have crossovers from the other show, which to me was like an insane thing. I had Sideswipe from RID come to Rescue Bots, and I can't even word properly. It must have been good because it's the longest running Transformers show to date. It has more episodes than G1. It must have been good if it got that many seasons and that many episodes. I understand not everyone likes Rescue Bots, and that's fine. You cannot tell me that you did not shed a tear or did not like tear up or get emotional when the Riders of Midwinter episode came on. That episode was so cute and made me cry a lot. That episode alone made me love the show. And that doesn't even include Blur. Blur's a whole other subject, okay? Blur, swoon! But I agree with you that Rescue Bots has a much better plot than RID. Not that I don't love RID any less, it just has a much better plot.